All right, pre-show shenanigans. This is kind of on me. I'll put a finger up for this one. This one's on me. When we did the greatest athletes list a couple weeks ago, there's one name on there that I kind of forgot. The greatest athlete of our generation, truly a man who has, let's say, has pioneered his sport on the map more than any other athlete has with their sport. Okay, this man's sport would truly not be on the level it is without him. Although I'm forgetting the first name, but Kobayashi is the guy who like originally put it on the map.
Originally, yeah.
But JC took it to the next level. So Joey Chestnut winning his 16th national, uh, worldwide hot dog eating championship. 16 now.
Yep.
Only time he lost was in 2015 to Matt Stoney.
The
Tip
GOAT.
the cap. Matt Stoney, one of the most entertaining men on YouTube.
And he retired, I'm pretty sure, immediately after that. He took Joey
Yeah,
Chestnut out. He's like, I'm
there
gone.
is no going up
I've
from that
conquered the
because you're
world.
not going to beat him again. You're going to get him once. You're going to get him one time. He beat him by 2 dogs, beat him 62-60. So yeah, in theory, I'm pretty sure JC, Joey Chestnut, Jaws himself, finished with 61 this year.
62.
62. Okay, so tied Stoney. Good. That would have been a blemish.
Let's also clarify when Matt Stoney won that year, that was the early days of the JC career path. This is the early. He was not dogging 76 hot dogs.
Well, no. I mean, he had already set many world records at that point, but we weren't talking 76. We weren't talking 3/4 of the way to the century mark, folks.
Now, what I want to say is the Joey Chestnut photo. I think you've seen this. We came back outside. So I'm gonna get all these guys. We're gonna do this after he got rained out.
That's just hero.
That is on the level of the LeBron James Miami Heat photo. You know, he's like looking up the Tiger Woods photo.
All I'm saying, Everett, there's only a few athletes I can think of in their respective sport that can just command the event to be back on, despite harsh rain element conditions, which would have given some eaters unfair advantages with some soggier buns, making it easier to swallow.
They recooked the whole thing.
I know, but hey, 10 minutes with those dogs out there now, unless they have little umbrellas for all those dogs, which I
you're sticking the little, you know,
those.
the drink umbrellas. You just stick at the top.
No, like literally like the little sandwich toothpicks. Yeah, just add that little Chinese umbrella thing on it. Yes. Now, if they did that, maybe we're talking. But
so if
the dogs if you put 10 minutes.
If you put the little umbrella thing on the hot dog, do you put it in the end and you have to eat the hot dog vertically, or are you putting it in the middle and the sides are getting soggy?
Well,
that's the question.
This is what I'm thinking, just in terms of that like look. The hot dogs, in terms of how they'd be laid out, I'm now correct me if I'm wrong. I've never partaken in one of these events. I know you did back in 2008, but
don't get me started on 2008, man.
The dogs, I'm pretty sure, are laid out horizontally, so you'll need some large
little. Well, mine were actually diagonally in 2008. That was the whole start of the issue. But
in a way that could end up being more surface area depending on how you're laying them out diagonally.
Well, okay, the bottom was diagonally, and then they were going crisscross up all the way.
Now the crisscross,
kind of got you. You know, there's a little
efficient surface area plan in terms
of but our unnamed interns really took them down.
Some big umbrellas. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna need so with that logic. Well, let's just go back to the rain. For any idiots out there saying, who cares if it's raining? Let them eat. No. It's truly a noticeable major difference and advantage if your buns are wet. So no. They couldn't. So they could not have eaten them outside, guys.
Talking about you know, the competitive aspects of eating and drinking. First things first, what competition would you be able to partake in and actually compete?
Now, my exact competition wouldn't technically be an eating competition, but for the sake of the question, if I were to like think of a food that I could just pound down, but also not be like small enough. It can't be like fries or chips. We don't want to measure it in like weight. I need like literal individual things that you can count by number to eat. Would you say that's fair?
I would say that's fair.
You know, we don't want to be measuring like how many ounces or pounds you're eating of shit. So with that, I would probably say my best move would be with a 10-minute timer. I was going to say pizza, but no.
Mine would probably be sushi for counting that.
I think that might
be too small.
Too small. That might need to be by roll, which is you're definitely.
That's worse.
No, that's way worse.
That's worse. What if you do hand rolls? What if you do hand rolls?
I think it would depend on the size.
Maybe we'll see.
But Everett, like in terms of a 10-minute feast chow down, I'm not sure if raw fish is what you want.
Well, it could be like tempura or something.
Okay, I'm trying to think of something where it'll take you, I don't know. Well, now I'm limiting, like, I'm trying to compare it to hot dog. Like, to be honest, if it was like a French fry or something like that, that would be, I guess, like
corn dogs. What about corn dogs? It's essentially the same thing.
I could definitely eat that faster than a hot dog, but if there was no stick in it, so I'm not like biting into the stick. If I was just eating plain corn dogs like they were hot dogs, then actually I think that would be easier than hot dogs.
Really, just the only difference is there's more
just
bun.
Because well, what I'm thinking is for the hot dog, it's more mouth area. Corn dog, you can take a bigger bite, like a larger percentage, need less bites to finish. So I'm thinking from that angle.
Okay.
Like, however, I do.
Oh, you know what mine would be?
I'm not sure.
You know what mine would be?
Hot dog, you might be getting more full with the bread and drinking water.
Yeah, mine, dumplings. Give me dumplings.
Now,
I can do some dumplings.
I think now, if we were just doing like pot stickers, I think that'd be fair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's fair because it's you'd be eating way more than 60, but like it'd be fair because like you can count that one by one.
Yeah,
that's actually
that's a pretty good one.
Now
it's a pretty good one
correctly, like in that like range of things. So like in terms of that, maybe like pizza pockets, pizza rolls, like
our patent pending unnamed intern Waterboy podcast pizza rolls.
Yeah, I mean that'd be really cool. Totino's hit us up, but I would actually probably say pizza rolls for me, as long as they aren't like burning mouth hot. Then it'd be a little slower. But
yeah, right out of the oven. That's the hard part of the challenge.
I'm actually gonna go with that. Actually, I was gonna say like Uncrustables or something, but like no.
That peanut butter is gonna slow you down, man.
Yeah.
So, and your mouth's gonna get all salty and like sticky with the peanut butter.
And Uncrustables also like that. Like you can't house those down, but after.
All right, so here's the real question. You remember the saltine challenge, right? From a couple years ago.
That and the cinnamon challenge, yeah.
So how many saltines you get down in 10 minutes?
I don't know. Like I mean, I'm not speaking on experience here, but like from like clips I've seen of people doing on like YouTube or whatever, people say like there is a strategy to it where like you can eat the saltines like relatively easy. Like there is some strategy to it, but like or no, not saltines. For the cinnamon,
yeah, for the cinnamon, there's some way to do it. I know that. I've seen people do it.
Roll the cinnamon or like roll it up into like a little ball or something and chew it. It's very disgusting and weird, but like that prevents you from coughing and like little
getting it everywhere.
Cinnamon
dust,
dust, just like clogging up your throat or whatever.
The last thing I want to say before we go into the actual show here, obviously Joey Chestnut won his 16th belt this year. The total length, fun fact, the total length of hot dogs eaten by Joey Chestnut since he first started competing in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
We have this number, okay.
Is equivalent to 648 feet. That is over double the height of the Statue of Liberty in hot dogs eaten.
Now, I mean, folks, what are we talking about? If we're talking about pound for pound greatest athlete on the pound for pound title actually gives Joey Chestnut a nudge here because major
literally pound for pound,
really, but like pound for pound, no pun intended. And when you look at the accolades and the accomplishments, this is absurd. This is ridiculous. I'm looking at it right now. He broke out onto the scene in Major League Eating in 2005, in the deep fried asparagus eating championship, in which he beat the highest ranked eater at the time, Rich Lefevre, by eating 6.3 pounds of fried asparagus in 11 and a half minutes. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today it is episode 132. And I don't really have any like intro to start this off. Nothing like big. Like
you know what? I've got something fun to start it off with. I've got something fun.
JC.
Shout out the GOAT, JC. Yeah. I've got something fun for us to start off with today. It's going to be a little trip into the MLB, going a little out of order today with the way we normally run things. There's nothing in the NBA, so really it doesn't matter. There is nothing going on in the NBA today.
Yeah, I mean, like Grant Williams got traded.
Yeah, who cares?
NBA Twitter believes something big's going to happen for the Celtics, but as an NBA casual myself, I don't know what that is. So let's move on.
So here is something interesting on the MLB as we're speaking, by the way, that we're recording this on Wednesday, July 5th, comes out the 6th. Hopefully everybody had a fun 4th of July. Let's stipulate that. Bobby Miller is currently pitching right now. So when Grant inevitably interrupts somewhere in the video, that's that game.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it'll make sense.
But so I think it was either a day or two ago, Bobby Bonilla Day came around. And this is just an interesting fact that I thought was absolutely hilarious. So obviously Bobby Bonilla, the Mets owe Bobby Bonilla money, right? Everybody knows that.
Till 2035.
But the Mets are paying almost $50 million to 8 different players who are no longer on the team, no longer playing for them. They owe a total of $49.8 million is how much they're paying them this year to not play for them, which, and this is the hilarious part, is more than the entirety of the Oakland A's starting payroll, active payroll. The Oakland A's active payroll is $43 million.
That's the fun part.
The Mets are paying more money to 8 players not to play for them than the Oakland A's are paying for their entire active roster this year.
Okay, now do not quote me on this, Everett, but I'm pretty sure those contracts do not apply to the salary cap. They still need to pay them.
No, they don't.
It applies to the salary cap.
I don't think they do, but still.
I've got the list right now. They're still paying. They pay Robinson Cano $20 million.
Yep.
James McCann is getting 11. Eduardo Escobar gets 9. Oh, and good old Darren Ruff gets 3.3 milli from them. So,
don't forget, there's Bobby Bonilla, Tommy Hunter, Brett Saberhagen, and Chris Flexen. The rest of the list.
I'm pretty sure also included on these lists, Gary Sanchez and Zach.
Gary Sanchez was on the Yankees, though.
No, not anymore this year. I think he's on the Padres now.
No. He is wherever now because he got traded to the Twins, but he was originally on the Yankees.
Twins now.
No. Gary Sanchez was traded to the Twins. He was there last year. This was all for Josh Donaldson last season.
I'm pretty sure. Since 2022, he's played for the Twins, Mets, and Padres.
Okay, he was on the Mets.
So he's been around. He's been around the block.
Made it around the block.
But yeah, Mets paying a lot of players.
I just think it's obviously everybody's talked about how much the Mets roster is, and they've talked about how Mike Sanchez. Oh my God, where am I going with that? Max Scherzer is getting paid more than the Oakland A's starting active payroll. I just think it's even more funny that they are paying 8 guys to not play for them more than the A's are paying for their entire team to actually play for them.
Yeah, they're paying those guys a healthy amount of money. But yeah, I mean, looking at their total payroll, they're paying a lot of players a lot of money. It's kind of hilarious right now. And you know what? God damn you, the World Baseball Classic, for taking away Edwin Diaz. Or else
literally.
or else they would be 30 games over 500 right now, right, Mets fans? Right? Yeah, exactly. Apparently, with the Mets, the problem is well, now like us with Kershaw out, their starters like cannot get through 4 innings.
No, they can't.
So Edwin Diaz wouldn't even be in safe situations anyway. So it wouldn't matter. Anyway, yeah. One thing while you're on the topic of Bobby Bonilla, fun fact here of the day, Everett, Mookie Betts is under contract with the Dodgers.
Yep, I have seen this.
32 when he's 39. If I'm gonna be honest, I can see the Dodgers doing something similar to Bobby Bonilla and having that. We might have Mookie Betts Day until 26.
Let's at least there's a positive connotation with that.
Hey, if he gets us a second ring, it'll be.
But let's actually dive into this because there's not too much content to go around.
Betts Day though, it'll be fun.
There's not too much content to go around today. We were talking about this the other day. Obviously, the All-Star game's coming up. And there's cloudiness surrounding Shohei Ohtani and his ability to play in that game because he has a blister on his throwing hand. But we were talking about this.
Many players have been scratched, and there's many replacements that I was complaining about have now made the team. So,
but we were talking about this, how if the Dodgers sign Shohei Ohtani, the situation for the luxury tax and for the Dodgers' ability to pay all the players that they need is a little bit dire. So I think that it'd just kind of be fun to do a little outlook on how the future might be if Shohei Ohtani does, in fact, join the Dodgers after this season.
Oh, well, goodness me. That's a bit of a big question. Let me look salaries by year real quick for you, Everett. Let me take a gander.
Because we
could do this pretty quickly too.
Yeah, but the way we were looking at it was, there are players we're waiting to pay out after arbitration. A lot of the Dodgers team is pretty young, so they're locked up for a while. But if you have Freddie, Mookie, and Shohei all on long-term contracts for a lot of money, especially Shohei's going to have to be about $60 million a year.
We should go over that too because we haven't exactly highlighted that part yet. But for Shohei's contract, I'm going to guess this. Like, I saw this like kind of getting floated around in the past like week or so on many different accounts or whatnot. But Shohei Ohtani, the way I look at it, right now, this year, he's the best hitter in baseball. Obviously, it's hard to replicate that, but
best power hitter in baseball. Luis Arraez is the best hitter in baseball.
Everett. Luis Arraez has the best batting average in many, many years, but Shohei Ohtani, he goes boom, boom. He hit 14 home runs in June. 14. Yeah. 14. Some people were saying that might have been the best
month of a player ever.
Which is crazy. Also had very nice pitching performances, but like, to be completely honest, like, that's not that.
You know what? Let's take a little.
Regardless, though,
let's diverge. Hold on, just real quick, just because this is.
I want to explain the 60 million, but
it's okay. You go ahead first.
So I think Shohei is going to be at minimum for the next. He's 20. He just turned 29 today, so I think for the next 7 to 8 years, especially him playing DH, that he can be a top 3 hitter in baseball, maybe at the back end of that, like top 10, top 20. But at least for the next 6 years or so, top 3 hitter in baseball at worst. Now, in terms of pitching, I wouldn't say he's as good of a pitcher as he is a hitter, which is, a big thing to ask because he's top 3 in the game. But in terms of pitching, I would say he's a top 10 starter right now. I'm not sure how many years he can give you of that. Let's say it's 4 years more of top 10 starting pitching, and then like 1 or 2 years more of like, go out there and get some innings stud. Even if
that's in the reliever position.
Well, I'm just saying, just stop the pitching. Let's just only focus on hitting now.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But like, even with that happening, like, I can still see him being worth $60 million, $30 million for being a top 3 hitter, or screw it, 35, 33 for being a top 3 hitter, and then 27 to 30 for being a top 10 pitcher. Yeah, I think his agent will be the one saying this to teams when negotiating, saying, you're getting 2 players in one. You're going
And
to
also,
pay accordingly.
You made this point too, by the way, because obviously before he was the full-time pitcher and could DH at the same time because it wasn't a rule, he got to play outfield. And you made the point, if he's done pitching, he'll obviously be a
play
DH,
him in the outfield.
play him in the outfield. Honestly,
you don't need to keep him at DH.
You can also probably he probably could play any of the infield positions too. If you really not shortstop, but
I mean, I'm not sure if he's ever played infield in his life.
And it's Shohei Ohtani.
Then let's not put him at third base. But I know he was playing right field and left field early on with the Angels and in Japan. So you could put him at corner. So
but this was the question I was going to ask before we really kind of dove into.
And you also pray that salary caps have a core adjusted
inflation.
8 years. Like you're praying. Like,
but this was the question I was going to ask before we just kind of dive into the way that it would work for the Dodgers. And I texted you this earlier today because it was just on my mind. If Shohei Ohtani doesn't re-sign with the Los Angeles Angels, is that the biggest fumble bag in sports history, in world history?
World history, I'm not
probably not, but sports history.
I'm trying to think of. There's probably a bigger bag fumble out there, at least that I can remember recently. I would say yes. Now, not by a team, but just one of the biggest bag fumbles by a league or organization was David Stern blocking CP3 to the Lakers. I mean, you could have really had viewership up, but regardless, if the Angels aren't able to re-sign Shohei, if they aren't able to convince him to come back, like I do think that, that's one of the biggest bag fumbles in all of sports, at least that I can remember recently, just because I would say he is the most valuable player in any sport because of what he can do both sides of the ball.
No, literally, seriously.
Like,
you don't see, there's no player in the NFL right now that's playing both sides of the ball. You don't have any.
Even if there was, pitching is essentially pitching's over 50% of the whole.
Just imagine that's like asking your quarterback to play free safety. That's probably the biggest equivalence. Maybe
I'm trying to I would say the quarterback aspect's the pitching part.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I'm trying to think of anything to compare him just hitting 50 bombs a season on defense.
Being Justin Tucker?
No, I'm literally thinking, I don't know, maybe being Lawrence Taylor.
Essentially.
I don't even know. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Just the value you get out of him. And it's if it's in the postseason too, you're just thinking the value you get out of him. And this
we've also, by the way, let's say this. We've never
negotiate this, but I would front load it. I would be okay paying him $60 million year one.
We obviously have never seen Shohei in the playoffs in America, which is a crime beyond belief.
That the Angels have committed. So
yes,
from Shohei's perspective, we get it. Leave.
But to be fair, we have seen him play. The only time we've ever seen him play as Americans,
play with the moments heated up in World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no, we've seen him play
against Mike Trout, by the way.
Yeah, that was another thing. I mean, that's also just amazing, just storytelling.
Oh, fantastic!
Beautiful,
fantastic.
But I mean, it'll be even more of a cherry on top because that'll be one of the first of many face-offs they'll have future in the MLB because they won't be teammates anymore after that season.
If you're Shohei Ohtani, what do you think you would do right now?
Leave and you just go wherever you get the most money.
You don't have any care about location. You could be on the Royals.
Well, I'm also saying for the most part, teams, the shit teams we're thinking about are not even going to offer him the only teams that will offer him that money are the Dodgers, the Yankees, not the Mets anymore, but the Padres. There's not many teams that are going to offer him that. Do
you think the Giants would offer him?
I doubt it. I mean, actually,
they probably will. Probably will.
They offered $400 to Judge. Yeah, no, they will. They offered $400 to Judge. Judge said no.
Well, everybody, and then don't forget they had Correa too for a moment.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Giants were the one who backed out of it after.
Yeah, they did because he failed his physical.
Yeah.
But they did have him sign momentarily.
True. Yeah, no. Like they had Judge and Correa for like 6 days each.
Imagine if they had Judge and Correa on the same team, though.
The Correa, well,
it was afterwards. To be fair, they probably didn't have enough
let's
money.
assume
But
Judge would be healthy right now. Terrifying, Everett. It'd be horrifying, especially seeing how the Giants are doing right now. They're like a game behind us, maybe ahead of us now after we've lost a couple. So yeah, no, that wouldn't be fun.
Not a great season for the boys.
Outlook for the Dodgers. Like, let's say we do sign Shohei, and let's pretend we are paying him maybe not 60, let's say 50. Let's say he gets half a bill for 10 years, 500 mil, 10 years. Let's just say that. I think it's gonna be longer and stuff, but regardless, let's just say it's that. So you got 50 on him, 27 Freddie, 30 Mookie. That's essentially 100. And in terms of like their total like cap allowed, I'm pretty sure it's like 240
as of right now. It's a little bit more. I think it's like 280.
I mean, real quick, I just gotta pull up the exact salary cap number real quick,
and it will increase over time too. That's the nice thing, is some of it will be pulled up. But
true.
The other thing that I was thinking though, if you're Shohei, because the big problem the Angels have had has been the pitching outside of Shohei.
33.
Okay.
The luxury tax threshold.
But if, like I was saying, if you're Shohei, the big issue the Angels have had has been pitching sustainably outside of Shohei Ohtani. If you're Shohei, would you take less money so that a team can sign other pitchers? Like for the Dodgers, if you go to the Dodgers, would you be willing to take less money so the Dodgers can build the rest of the bullpen?
Well, in a perfect world, we're also, just continuing with the known fact that Shohei Ohtani is the nicest and most respectful athlete in American sports.
Yes.
So just with that thought process, and let's just hope his, dad or whoever's in his ear isn't like a money greedy guy. Let's just hope those aren't the case. So with that, I could definitely see Shohei just leaving a lot of deserved money on the table and just taking 400 over 13, like the Soto contract.
I'm just hoping. The whole issue is some players we see it a lot in the NBA is they don't want to go to the pristine prized franchises. Thing though,
like if I were Shohei, I would take as much money possible from the Dodgers, because I know the Dodgers don't even like go after big name starters really and sign them to long-term deals in the first place. So
you're
giving me all your money because I know you're not going to give it to someone else.
I'm just hoping that I'm hoping that Shohei Ohtani, as somebody who is just living in LA right now, and obviously like the Dodgers are one of the most historic franchises.
I mean, I wouldn't
in the world.
Be shocked if he was driving out to Anaheim every day from LA.
From LA, yeah. But I'm just hoping because of the time zone and everything, that he will be more into the idea of signing with the Dodgers than going to the East Coast. To be honest,
I think after seeing World Baseball Classic, just kind of how big it was in Japan, I truly do think that does matter. I think being a Pacific,
it's huge.
It does matter a lot. And with
that's also why
I'm not sure if they will pay it, but Seattle Mariners, if you want to pay it, he'll look at that.
I mean, look,
it's up to them if they want.
But also think if you, I don't know much about the way that people in Japan think about like if you're a current player.
I don't really know either, but
right. What I am saying, I feel what I am saying is I feel like if you're a player from Japan, you're playing in the MLB, to be able to play for the Mariners, to go to Ichiro's team.
That as well,
and continue that is massive.
It's that, but it's also just like, I mean, as a half Chinese man myself with many relatives from Seattle, Seattle's just a big like port city.
Oh, it is 100%.
Asian people went to. So just with that, like it's just a big culture thing there. Like I definitely think he would look at them if they gave him at least 400,
which they won't. But
no, yeah, they won't.
They have the money to
look at that. No, that's what I'm saying.
But,
yeah, I mean, realistically, yes. Giants, Padres, Dodgers. That's the race. I mean, I wouldn't throw the Yankees completely out of it if they.
I just think that also
bag. Then I think is okay. That can waive the Pacific Coast thing.
I'm also just thinking about it. I'm thinking about it in terms of I'm Shohei. One, like I don't really know if New York's going to be his speed. With the weather, the fan bases, everything, because like he's very
also just from the Shohei perspective, let's think about pitcher Shohei. That's the more
he wants to be the ace,
not a hitter friendly ballpark.
No,
not or a really big hit, not a pitcher-friendly ballpark.
Yeah,
He's going to be giving up bombs.
He
will
also
be hitting bombs.
yeah.
It's the pitching that needs
My
the help.
assumption is
Dodger Stadium.
My assumption is he wants to be the ace on the team, and he can do that on the Dodgers. But the other thing is, he's like a very kind of, it seems like he's a very secluded guy, and I don't think that New York is really that kind of speed. Everything is so close together.
Well,
Everybody's
yeah, I mean,
always
in the
hounding
first
you to
place,
do all
that's
these
why
things.
he didn't even really consider us or the Yankees or the Mets. That's why he picked
Anaheim
in the first place. He didn't want to pick the big city. So, but I
But
think
the nice thing is you don't have to live in
the
LA.
contender. It's the contenders that is what he cares about. He won that World Baseball Classic. He's like, shit, this is fun. I want to go to a team that wins.
We build my legacy.
And you can't blame him. It is more
I do
fun.
also think that legacy, in my mind, legacy has to be a big part of what he chooses to do next.
Yeah, well, if he is truly that nice guy, then I guess he wouldn't really be concerned about it. But he
no, I feel like he
has dog in him.
I think he'd be even more into the idea of his legacy, which is why like being that nice guy kind of deal.
Yeah, but if we're talking Shohei Dog Tawny now, then if he wants that dog in him, then he's picking the contenders, keeping the nice guy too, stay West Coast. Look at the Padres right now. Look at the Dodgers. Look at the Giants. It's down to us and the Giants.
The Padres have the money for him with Machado and Soto.
They technically do.
It's and just Tatis.
They will have to be giving up players because they can't afford them even on ARB contracts. Like they can do it, but like Darvish, they need to pivot off of. Like there's many pieces they have to get off of or move, or there's going to be many players that they should have locked up for years that they'll have to get rid of because they can't pay them.
Also, keep in mind it's his translator too, needs to get wherever he goes. So just translator. Getting to live still in LA, they can keep their place.
I mean, to be completely honest, like straight up, I wasn't even thinking about that. Based off that, I'm not even kidding here. I'm guessing you were kind of half joking there, but like straight up, that dude might be the second most valuable opinion in Shohei's ear, at least
probably
because he's working directly with him. He's essentially his partner or assistant.
Well, he is. That's the whole Shohei. He quit his job with the MLB so he could be permanently with Shohei Ohtani because the MLB was going to reassign him.
Now, even more so with knowing that knowledge, yeah, like that dude's opinion matters. So, I mean, Andrew Friedman, let's go talk up the translator. All right, let's get on the phone with him. It'll be an easier conversation. He speaks English. So, yeah, you're going to be speaking to him a lot anyway. A lot. Unless his agent is, well, okay. This is
I don't know who his agent is. It is important.
His agent is Boris. If his agent is Boris, then he's getting maybe $3 billion. Okay, Naz Balillo. Not entirely sure.
Where is he based out of, though? That is also.
I'm looking. I don't know. I'm looking.
Because if he is a Los Angeles brand man,
well, that also, is want to peep some of his other contract deals just because I want to see what else. This guy looks like a baller. I'm not gonna lie.
This is officially
looking at his headshot.
It's officially Shohei Ohtani Day on the Waterboy podcast. This is what this has turned into.
I mean, his two large clients it has listed is Gene Segura and Shohei Ohtani. And if I have this correct, he just got Segura a solid contract.
Yes, a solid contract. Pretty sure.
2 years, 2 years, 17.
Maybe not.
I'll take that for Gene Segura. We'll see. If it was Scott Boras, then no bullshit. The first negotiation, he'd ask for $1 billion. No bullshit. He
just hands down.
Like that guy's cutthroat. Well, that's another thing. Julio's agent is Scott Boras, and with that knowledge, we're not re-signing him. I'm pretty sure Seager was also Boras. Scherzer's Boras. I don't think Trey Turner is. But I think Freddie Freeman was.
He left when he signed with the Dodgers.
Oh,
remember he had that whole thing.
I don't think
he left whoever his agent was when he signed with the Dodgers.
Actually, no, you're correct. He wasn't Boris then, but
if he did, that would have been even more.
That dude gets the money. Like he does not. He tells the player he probably tells them hey, at the end of the day, we're just getting you the most money, and then you could just demand a trade. That we could go where you want. I bet he's probably telling that to some of those players. But
maybe, yeah, it's possible.
In terms of let's say we are. Last little thing on this. Let's say we are paying all those 3 players. In terms of the future, guys we have to give up, Julio's certainly gone. Kershaw, we also wouldn't really. I mean, maybe he comes back for cheaper. Maybe.
Kershaw might just come
I
back
would
because it's
love to
Kershaw.
have him back. Actually, I think
he might just be here
no,
till
no,
he
no, no.
retires.
We would keep him actually. If I'm gonna be honest, we'd have the money too. The Chris Taylor contract, I'm worried a little bit about. We're
I
gonna
think
be
he's gone.
13. We're gonna try to
Muncy.
get rid of him. I'm not sure how we can get. Well, this thing about Muncy, I'm not really sure. Well, he's not a free agent next year. He's a free agent.
No, but I'm saying
2025.
you'd have to get rid of his contract. Somebody you'd trade him.
Well,
something like
he's
that.
getting 13 and a half this year. He makes 10 next year. He'll be a free agent the year after. Just in terms of how it's looking overall, and like we'll just need a third baseman. The other name that people were floating around was Matt Chapman, but he's gonna get like a longer-term deal. Yeah. So not like a crazy back.
No, but he'll have a back.
But he'll get like at least a 5+ year deal. So odds are not going to want to commit to that. And so I would say we re-sign Max Muncy to like a 1 or 2 year deal when he expires in 24. For 25 and 26, I can see us re-signing him.
Depends how much money has been spent though, because somebody you just might get a vet minimum guy.
Well, for that season, the new contracts I have to negotiate. Kershaw, let's say, Arraez is gone. The way it looks right now, Muncy, other than Kershaw, would be the second most expensive guy we'd have to pay.
Not CT.
He's already paid.
I thought it's 6. Oh, you're saying free agency. I got you.
For 25.
Yeah, I got you.
JD, we'll see next year. If he does good next year, I don't know.
But he's at that point. Here's the thing. But keep in mind, this is also assuming you just said that this is under the assumption we have signed Shohei Ohtani, that we're signed. So there's no point in having JD Martinez because it's what Shohei's gonna be playing.
Oh, actually, holy shit! Even more correct. If we do get Shohei Ohtani, JD Martinez does not get re-signed next year, and then someone gets a really good DH. Walker for 2025. We'll see how he plays.
I think I've said this. I think he can be on the outs.
We probably cannot keep him. I
think he's on the outs,
and he's not the same Walker. Then we could keep him for pretty cheap, and we probably will end up doing that, just on like a 1 or 2 year deal. Like almost every name I'm about to list, the max contract is 2 years. Just keep that in mind. So no long-term deals for any of these guys. Trinan will be gone. Hudson will be gone. David Peralta will probably be gone. Will Smith will still be there. The 2026, that'll be a weird window if we pay him or not. If we have that much money locked up to Ohtani.
Fully depends on how much the cap is elevated to that point over the next 4 years.
That is another thing. And it could be some type of contract where it's front-loaded, where we'll be in the luxury for a year or two. And then,
but that's not That's not insane to deal with.
Well, the thing about the luxury tax things, like over time, is that you also lose draft picks.
Yeah. But it wouldn't. What I'm saying is, it wouldn't be the first time that we are in the luxury tax because of
I know, but like, just when you're playing the roster, like, we're trying to steer clear of that. More so for the draft pick penalties.
Bobby has let up 4 runs. Not a great game.
I specifically didn't say anything.
Not great.
But yeah, other than that, the rest of the players are all pretty young and like down there. Like some hilarious names that we have locked up. Evan Phillips is a free agent in 2027. Luis Arraez is a free agent in 2027. Tony Gonsolin is a free agent in 2027.
I swear to God, I feel like Tony Gonsolin's
like 30. A lot of
30.
hilarious names locked up. Gonzo's 29. So no, like he debuted late. So like near future, we can certainly afford paying Shohei 50 to 60.
Yeah, if you front load it too, that makes everything easier.
Like to be just in terms of salary cap wise, we can do it. The question comes down to if I'm going to guess Freeman's going to be negotiating with his agent, like, we're bringing you to the top contender. It's LA.
He's probably negotiating with them as we speak, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like in MLB, you're probably encouraged to
like Freddie, Mookie, and Will are probably going to the All-Star game, meeting up with Shohei.
No, like literally like what Draymond did, recruiting KD to the Warriors in the Hamptons. Like literally, they should be doing that right now, going on retreats out to Anaheim.
No, literally, to meet up with them.
Like I thought for a second last year at the All-Star game that Soto really wanted to come to the Dodgers. Like if you remember, the crowd was chanting future Dodger at Soto at the All-Star game.
And it was, I mean, yeah, it was at Dodger Stadium, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of just, overall Dodger talk, we can definitely go get Shohei Ohtani. If we do that though, and he is playing DH, I don't really see the need to keep Will Smith considering our catching prospects. I think we are better off now just putting one of those catchers in the lineup and he gets $500K for 4 years. And you pray.
I agree with that.
You pray. The odds of him becoming Will Smith is not very high. It probably won't become Will Smith again, but you're not asking for that. That's an over ask. Will Smith is the best catcher in baseball. So a little bit of a difference. So overall, I would probably say Will Smith, if we get Shohei, Will Smith is gone. If we don't get Shohei, then Will Smith is on this team. And then those catching prospects are now on the block.
Yeah, I can see that. Also depends what Austin. I don't know. How long is Austin Barnes locked up for?
I believe he has. I think it's 1 more year after this.
So he might be gone. He might not be able to get re-signed.
Well, I'm assuming that too. He'll be gone.
Yeah. So one of the guys, Cartaya probably is going to get called up regardless.
Yeah.
To replace him.
Like, just with that in mind, yeah, Will Smith could be gone with Shohei. If we don't get Shohei though, I like what you've been cooking up. Will Smith at DH or first or third or something. But no more catching, Willie.
No,
you're not good at it. So I get what his agent's doing though, because as a catcher, and you just put up those hitting numbers, he should be worth more because it's the catcher position. However,
I mean, now look,
catching numbers, and then you're like,
also
he should not be a catcher.
Arguably, for arbitration's sake, for his contract's sake, he deserves to be in the All-Star game, but that's worse for us, for the Dodgers as an organization, because he's going to use that now as he's got probable.
I'm not sure.
Evidence.
I mean, if I'm going to be honest, like, if I was Will Smith, I'd be pointing to like my 2020 World Series NLCS numbers.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Not the All-Star game, being like, without.
But I would also be noting the All-Star game. I would be like, hey.
Of course. I didn't know they had all MLB teams. I had no idea that was.
I didn't know that they had that. They have that.
I'm pretty sure that's new because
100%. I think the NFL was the first.
Jeter and Barry Bonds having so many of that.
I think the NFL was like the first team, like sport to really do that. Then the NBA picked it up, and then
I just know that them two have been doing it for a while.
It's been together. I'm pretty sure the entire time we've been alive, and that's been
another thing though. Is like in the NBA, if you make an All NBA team, then you qualify for the Supermax. Like that is dependent on the.
Well, no, that's also why Jaylen Brown was
it's not technically contended on it, but
that's why Jaylen Brown was like, if I don't get, if I don't get it, I'm going to leave.
Klay Thompson, his reaction to Kemba Walker getting third team over him, and that was in the contract year. I felt so bad for Klay, even though he's one of the most hateable players in the league now. Like, he's so annoying. Anytime he gets owned in anything, I don't care. 4 rings, I don't care. Dude, shut up, bro. Holy shit.
The other thing,
love your brother though. We love Trace, but go on.
He could fix his batting averages a little bit.
Yeah, but as a human, we love him.
Yeah. But the last thing I want to talk about is just the MLB real quick. You mentioned this. Apparently, I'm a Luis Arraez stan. Might be his biggest fan. Self-entitled biggest fan of Luis Arraez.
Self-proclaimed. I'll give you that.
There have been claims made that you've told me that people have said Luis Arraez deserves to be in the Hall of Fame after this season alone, because if he finishes with above a 400 batting average, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because of this season alone. And as Luis Arraez, #1 fan, as his #1 stan, self-proclaimed, as somebody who would make that kind of claim about him being able to do that stuff, I am telling everybody that is absurd. There is no player ever in any sport, maybe besides Secretariat, that or Joey Chestnut
Well,
that would
for
deserve.
the horses, yes, because they only race for like a year.
Yeah.
Right? So yes,
yeah.
for them, yes.
So yeah,
That's a
Secretariat.
lifetime for them.
Yeah. But there's no athlete besides Secretariat that should be immediately inducted into the Hall of Fame because of one phenomenal record-breaking season. You don't see that happening in any sport anywhere.
Yeah,
and
no.
even with Shohei Ohtani doing what he's done, obviously everybody knows he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But numerically speaking, a lot of players don't even get in. Just batting the numbers that Shohei's batted. Let's disregard the pitching stuff. Players don't really get in even with just that. So you need to have
yeah, I would say right now the only locked in hitter Hall of Famer is Mike Trout, like Goldschmidt, Freddie,
and he's
every
been
guy
doing
are
things
guaranteed.
for years on top of that, and he's a very good outfielder. Luis Arraez, fantastic hitter, but look, contact average, batting averages is only great for so much to get you to the Hall of Fame. You need to have other things. And obviously him batting 400, that makes a sizable dent into what you need to do to get into the Hall of Fame. But
Well,
that's
now
not
this thing. Like if he had like a career, like not 400 because that's impossible.
no, if you had a career
But if he had like a
3.5.
career 350 batting average,
Yeah.
which would be ridiculous, like
then
depending
yes.
on the rest of the accolades, like yeah.
But it's also like let's say you do that over a 10-year career span. All right, yes,
So
you're gonna
even more. He's only 26. Yeah.
No,
so
yeah. But I'm saying if your career is 10 years and your average when you're done with your career is a 350, then yeah, you might be able to make the argument. Not immediately.
I would like to say for the most part they should be in, but I don't.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be an immediate like instantaneous eligibility like getting in the Hall of Fame, but you would get in, and it would happen. The thing is, batting 400, like you're having a record-setting season. Nobody gets in for one record-setting season. Typically, you see when you look at these lists of players that have these accolades, typically they are in the Hall of Fame, but they don't get in because of that one season.
Yeah, I mean
like, that's just not how it works.
Seasons. Like, I mean,
like look at the NFL. Let's talk about
like
let's look at the NFL for instance. If we want to talk about this, right? Let's have a comparison. Odell, all right, when Odell started his career, he was on pace for all these different accolades. He set the most yardage, he had the most touchdowns, the most receptions, all these things. Obviously, we're seeing a replication of that now in Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, but Odell said all of these things. His career kind of took a dive, but even then, nobody was saying, all right, Odell Beckham retired right now. He's going to the Hall of Fame because he set these records the first 4 seasons of his career. Nobody said that. So there's no reason for anybody to say that with the MLB with Luis Arraez. And I love him. Like I said, self-proclaimed #1 fan. I called this last year. I said he was going to bat 400. You didn't believe me. But there's no way in hell that a 1-400 season gets you immediately into the Hall of Fame. Now, if he like batted 400, won the MVP, was pitching as well, got the Cy Young, won the World Series, then yeah, okay, you can get 1 year, go to the Hall of Fame. That's fine.
I'm gonna be honest, even then, the way the works, I still don't know.
But like if you manage
just from that,
if you got
stingy they are.
If you got Silver Slugger, Cy Young, you won MVP, you won the World Series title, World Series MVP, you batted 400. I don't know if I said that.
Now, if they just did that in a season and then their career was 350, now that would get them in if they also had like 3 or 4 more Silver Sluggers and a Gold Glove or 2.
You're a little extreme.
I'm not though, because that's how ridiculous these voters are.
If you did that, it's the timing in which you'd get in the Hall of Fame. It's the delayed or you get immediate. That's kind of the difference here. But there's no shot.
All of them are delayed.
Without multiple accolades on top of the 400 season at a minimum, you're not getting in, and it's not happening after one season.
Just for reference, Everett, do you know how many of those voters submit blank ballots every fucking year just to spite whoever wants to get in?
Isn't it like 25%?
I mean, I'm not sure the exact numbers, but there are multiple people every year who just submit a blank ballot because it's just like no one else should be in. They're just stingy little shitheads. Like, when I say little, I mean old farts. Like literally, they just.
And
Will
look,
not
I guarantee you, if you ask Luis Arraez right now, point blank, you're like, all right, should you
he
do
would
you
not say he deserves to be in the
do
Hall
you
of
think
Fame.
you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame after this season? He'd be like, who the fuck is asking me that question?
I mean, like I'd love to see it.
He would
Like
laugh. He
probably
would
just
laugh.
Yeah, I was about to
He'd
say he'd probably
laugh.
just be laughing.
Like
Like in terms
even
of recent
let's
memory,
put it this
these are
way.
the first
Do
balloters.
you
Like
think, by the way, let's just
comment.
say ignore everything else that's happened in Aaron Judge's career, or even we could talk about Barry Bonds, right? Think about the home runs in one season, right? You set the record for home runs in one season. You get in the Hall of Fame immediately because of that? No.
Like
No.
the all-time MLB record for
Like
home runs in a
like
season.
let's
No,
talk
you
about
wouldn't be in.
no. No. And that is absurd. That's almost as hard as hitting 400 in the season.
I would say it technically would be the hardest
Thing
to do because there have been people who've hit 400. If you had the most home runs ever, you'd be the only person to have that many home runs.
And also, let's talk about Ichiro too. And Ichiro hitting, I think he has the record for most hits, right? It's his record. It's from the most hits in the MLB. Something
no
like that.
idea.
I mean, still, like it was a lot for it, and for him to make the Hall of Fame. But okay, we don't really have.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not even sure if he's been eligible to make it. Or wait,
Ichiro?
No,
I'm pretty sure
he's definitely been.
I'm pretty sure he's in the Hall of Fame already.
There was someone who like recently just got on. I was shocked. I'm like, Jesus, that dude's been retired for so long, but it's the delayed thing. Anyway,
it might have been, yeah.
Okay,
so
on to new topics.
Okay, you have something for college football, correct?
Yeah. Right. I got a college football list, but also I got one little fun fact about college football. It was like my tweet of the day I saw, or my reaction of the day that I saw. So, starting off, Everett, the number 11 player in the country, 5-star wide receiver Cameron Coleman, committed to Texas A&M. Now, we're not talking NIL, Everett. You don't need to worry about that.
We're not talking about SMU death penalty award this year.
After last season, now many of those A&M players did leave, but Evan Stewart, the 5-star receiver, actually had a nice year. And in the list I'm about to give, I was considering throwing Stewart on there at the end, but thought some other more upperclassmen deserved it over him. But this is from Brandon Walker himself. This is a great win for Texas A&M right now. This is a massive win for their 2024 class. But Everett, it's an even bigger win for whoever gets him next spring in the portal. Even bigger win for that team because they're actually going to get him. So I'm really excited. Ohio State, keep our eyes on Cameron Coleman because that recruitment is open. Yeah, he's just spending a layover at A&M. Then he'll be on to the real school.
Oh my God.
Yeah, even bigger.
That was good.
To who gets him next spring.
That was good. That was great. A&M is just a stepping stone.
Yep.
Fantastic.
But top 10 wide receivers in college football going into next season. Yeah, we'll go 10-1, even though everyone knows one is Marv, but we'll go 10-1 still. Malachi Corley, Jacob Cowing, Malik Neighbors, Xavier Worthy, Johnny Wilson, Jalen McMillan, Dorian Singer, Rome Odunze, Emeka Egbuka, and Marv. One thing that really stuck out to me looking at these lists is
hey, hold on.
Pac-12 receiving core.
Honorable mention, Jaquan Jackson.
Oh, yes. My bad. One thing I want to point out, though, is how good the Pac-12 receiving core just is as a conference. There are a lot of really, really good receivers in the Pac-12 this year.
Yeah.
I have the number 3 and number 5 receivers in the country, both from Washington. I think they have a very, very good duo. Unfortunately, Marv, also I have a Mecca at 2, but Marv
USC too has some pretty good wide receivers too. USC
up a little bit. Picked up Dorian Singer, my number 4 player, transferred from Arizona. They kind of just did what they did with Jordan Addison last year, just went and got another.
Rishi Rice is pretty
Jordan
good.
Addison was like number 2. Rishi Rice is a Kansas City Chief.
Oh my God. I'm what's his name?
Who else?
What's his name? No, they have Jerry Rice's kid on the team.
Oh, Brendan Rice.
Brandon Rice. Thank you.
Don't think he'll be getting much PT. Mario Williams is one of my favorite players on USC.
Which one fumbled the
Might
ball
have
to the 1 yard line in the Cotton Bowl?
I
It's
don't
one of them.
remember.
It was one of
I
them.
don't
But
know.
thank you.
Brendan. I mean, not to get us off topic. Brendan Rice. I'll be honest. Like up until the Tulane game, I thought he was like the worst receiver on the team.
Okay, let's not get into that one.
I like all.
Yeah, no, yeah, but he played really well that day.
No, he turned it up. He saw Caleb hobbling and he was like, you know what?
It's my time to shine. It's my time to shine.
It's not that hard, right? Yeah, but a lot of firepower from the Pac-12 this year.
Lot of firepower.
Johnny Wilson, another former Pac-12 player, believe he was at Arizona State under Herm Edwards. Now he's at Florida State. Watch out for Florida State this year, Everett.
Jordan Travis coming up.
Truly can be a playoff team this year for the first time since Jameis in the very first.
It's just the 4-team playoffs with how many good teams like this. This is that kind of season where we have so many good teams where 4-team playoff kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
Well, that's what we're saying preseason. I guarantee by the end of the year,
we'll come back to this in 6 months.
The preseason top 10 will have 4 L's. Look at A&M last year. Look at Notre Dame last year.
Wait for Grant to come up with that one
Alabama
in the next month. Grant's been cooking the analytics up for the last 2.5 months, getting ready for this top 10 rankings.
Ready. But yeah. In terms of receivers, watch out for them. Last little shout out, and this is more of like an NFL shout out, Everett. Malachi Corley. He plays for Western Kentucky. Hilltop.
Western Kentucky always just has random dude.
NFL prospects.
Right?
And Malachi Corley looks like a man playing with boys.
Big. that makes sense.
Now it's Western Kentucky. Take that with a grain of salt. He's going up against like what?
Well, yeah, Kentucky? I mean Bailey Zappi's set. I don't know. He threw like 60 touchdowns in one season. Was that what he did that year?
Not entirely sure what Zappy Hour did with them, but also great nickname. Kind of wish that kind of carried on a little more. Anyway, though, Malachi Corley, keep your eye on him. NFL name to keep your eye on. It's Western Kentucky. You might not hear much during the season, but
no, you will hear every once in a while, and it'll be Western Kentucky player, whatever, threw for 600 yards in the game, 5 touchdowns. You're like, okay, that's interesting. And at the end of the year, you'll see the absurd stats that they post. It's like NDSU.
In those in the throwback Texas Tech days, or like Houston Case Keenum days, the funniest shit was the receiver stats.
Houston Case Keenum was disgusting, by the way. I'm pretty sure he still holds the NCAA record.
Probably does for career.
I think he does for career.
It'd be hard to overtake him because I'm pretty sure he was a 4-year starter, even if he was a 3 stick.
Yeah, I think he holds it for career.
Probably has 17,000 career yards and 160 to 180 career touchdowns, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, those are my college football news. Shout out whoever gets Cameron Coleman next spring and top 10 receivers in college football.
Okay, well, we'll wrap up with the NFL. Today has been this week has been a very lackluster news week. So there's not really that much for us to go off of. I have a top 10 coaches on the hot seat list, which we'll get to in a second. I'm just kind of scrolling here through Twitter just in case something's come up.
In terms of the NFL, I've just been thinking a lot of fantasy football recently. I got 3 or 4 players that I'm really, really high on.
Okay. Well,
just a quick little list.
I would love to hear.
Quarterback, 1 running back, 1.
Yeah, we could do that. We can work with that.
Okay, so starting things off at the quarterback position, let's just start this off especially in 1 quarterback leagues. Really not that big of a fan of going and getting a top guy. So with that mindset, these aren't the feature players, but the 2 quarterbacks in redraft 1 quarterback leagues that I want to leave with, Kirk or Gino. I want to leave with one of those 2. Those are the 2 guys that will lead my 1 quarterback league to victory. I want those 2 bad. in terms of quarterback, if I'm looking for a little upside for a guy that I think I won't think he'll be QB1. Just based off recent memory, the quarterback who's actually should be QB1 fantasy wise, Everett, just based off recent memory, it's Justin Fields. He should be QB1 next year based off recent like trends.
Yeah.
But Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is a guy that I think will take a significant leap having the offseason and the suspension going away. I do think that Deshaun's going to be much better in year 1.5, year 2. I think it'll be better. So Deshaun's the guy. For running backs, the one guy, well, I had both Cooks written down, but we're going to skip that one. An interesting one that I'm looking at that I think could actually do really well, Javonte Williams under Sean Payton, I think has the potential to do nice. And even they have another running back, correct?
Samaje Perine.
Good. So even if he is a power back, now I'm not going to actually say these guys are going to be Mark Ingram, Kamara, but just let's say you have him as the power back and Javonte Williams as the more speed guy, but he's no Kamara out of the backfield. Ain't nobody is Kamara catching the ball out of the backfield in this league. There's only one AK. So, but I think Javonte Williams has the potential to really pop off in that offense. Broncos, I'm expecting a resurgence. Been saying that for a while now. And then for wide receivers, Keenan Allen, little bit of a homer bias pick, but from weeks 10 through 18 last year, Keenan Allen led the league in yards and receptions.
You're welcome to take him. I'm okay.
Now, especially in PPR, Keenan is a guy where I think you can get much later, and he could be like wide receiver 8 on the year if a magic angel comes in and keeps him healthy. Statistically wise, he was wide receiver 1 for the last 8 weeks of the year. Like, that blew my mind when I read that. I was like, there's no way. It's Keenan Allen we're talking about now. But I saw it.
I mean, look, let's start this stipulation off. If you follow some of these advice, you do so at your own risk. The Keenan Allen pick is certainly at your own risk. So
obviously the injuries are a major concern. And
age, just general
with
regression.
that, like, my opinions on Quentin Johnson, but just knowing about the injuries, the rumor at Chargers camp is based off some like leaks, which I don't even know how someone took pictures like of them practicing, but Quentin Johnson like is the third receiver for the ones in 3 receiver sets. So like in a way he's starting, but I feel like for the most part we're going to have 2 receiver sets, but like in a way he's starting. Let's just say that Keenan and Mike Williams are going to miss time this year, and Quentin Johnson's like actually could be a nice fantasy pick for year 1.
Yeah. Speaking of fantasy,
it is reliant on injuries though.
Yeah. It's still undecided, but Grant and I may be live streaming our fantasy draft this year. Yeah, so we'll keep you guys posted with that.
We'll have an official announcement.
But last thing before we wrap up, top 10 coaches on the hot seat. My stipulation for this, basically 8 through 10 are not really on the hot seat. We did need kind of have some people to fill up the spots, but these are guys who, might be having some difficulties this year, might have a surprise firing kind of situation. Probably won't, but these are guys where it's like, they're kind of there. You don't really know how things will go. It could just be a random kind of occurrence situation. We'll go 10-1 on this just because, really 8, 9, and 10 don't really matter. But here we go. Jonathan Gannon, Matt Eberflus, Dennis Allen, Arthur Smith, Josh McDaniels, Todd Bowles, Kevin Stefanski, Riverboat Ron, Brandon Staley, and Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I mean, I know, egregious guys. Staley should be 1. I know. I tried to tell
Hey. Denny's menu, Mike McCarthy, can't hate on that much like that.
Yeah, I mean, Mike.
He deserves to be there.
It's just like the way the Cowboys lost last year.
He also will be the play caller this year.
Now, like, I'm like that. Someone was telling me that wasn't Kellen Moore's play. I'm pretty sure that was Zeke at center.
I
Was that
think
not Kellen Moore's play?
Mike McCarthy asked for that play.
Okay, well, all right. I guess I was giving Kellen Moore a little too much hate. You know, he's not that dumb.
No, I'm actually I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to what Kellen Moore does this year with the Chargers. I actually there's high expectations.
I've gone a little, you know, a little more optimistic. Actually, very much more optimistic.
It only took you 3 months, but we're getting there.
No, I know. It's just I can't get the Zeke play just out of my mind. That's
I don't think anybody will ever be able to get that out of your mind. It's that and the Colts punt.
One of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. Oh,
that and the punt.
Pat McAfee under center with no linemen. Yeah, both of the the edge rushers on that player just look at each other like, I mean, like,
do you want the sack? Can I have the sack?
Do we just tackle it? Like,
do you want the sack? Can I have the sack? Who's
stat padding each other? Look like, wait, like, are we even allowed to like? Are we?
Can we touch him? Like,
what's
going on?
What the hell? Like, it was very strange. But yeah.
Well,
what's going on there?
Yeah. With that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, and on Twitter and Instagram at WaterboyPod. Make sure to follow me and Grant on TikTok and Twitter at Everett Takes and at WaterboyGrant. We may or may not be live streaming this weekend for our fantasy draft. Stay tuned on Twitter for an official announcement. Maybe on TikTok as well. We'll see what happens with that. If we do anything, it's for the unnamed intern to figure out. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboy's out.
Real quick, shout out Ellie De La Cruz for hitting a 460-foot home run immediately after the ump checked his bat and the other team was complaining, thinking it was corked. It wasn't. Then he hit a 460-foot bomb. So, yeah, don't doubt EDLC, boys. Remember that.